Hi everyone, I'm Zach with GB Reman. In this video, I'd like to cover some of the features and benefits of GB's remanufactured fuel injection control module, or FICM, for the Ford 6-liter Power Stroke. As you may know, the FICM has a high failure rate due to manufacturing defects that are inherent with the original design. First, let's take a look at the anatomy of a FICM. Inside the FICM, there are two printed circuit boards. One is the logic board, and the other is the injector power supply board. The logic board is the brain of the FICM. It contains a microprocessor, software, logic circuits, and the injector drivers, which are responsible for controlling the fuel injectors. Each injector utilizes two solenoids, so in total there are 16 high-power drivers on the logic board. Any malfunction in the injector solenoids or FICM harness, which is common, can cause damage to these drivers. Here are some examples of damage to the logic board caused by defects in the injector circuits. The FICM also has a power supply board, and it's responsible for stepping up the battery voltage from 12 volts to 48 volts. The injectors require this higher voltage to create the intense magnetic field necessary to move the spool valve inside the injector. Failures on these power supply boards are common. Let's cover GB's remanufactured FICM, then we'll take a look at some competitive options available. All remanufactured units start out as a core or used part. All units are completely torn down, and each board is put through a battery of inspection and testing procedures. This includes both pinpoint component testing as well as functional testing. The main board is carefully inspected and any defects are corrected. Common failure points are updated to prevent failure in the field, and each injector driver is independently tested to ensure that it is 100% functional. Defective or damaged drivers are replaced. The power supply board is inspected and upgraded to eliminate common failure modes. Once completed, the power supply board is load tested at 100% capacity to ensure it will perform under all vehicle operating conditions. This eliminates the possibility of intermittent failures out in the field. Each half of the case is completely stripped and coated with our thermally conductive coating. The power supply board is then installed into the FICM shell and mated to the logic board. Once assembled, the FICM is reprogrammed using the latest software, which is a significant improvement over earlier versions of the software. The updated software includes features that help reduce injector stiction during cold engine operation, which can result in engine misfire. Finally, the fully remanufactured FICM is functionally tested using GB's proprietary tester. The tester uses an entire vehicle control system and injectors to test the FICM under actual operating conditions. During the test, each injector's waveform and current characteristics are measured to ensure they are 100% functional under all operating conditions. A self-diagnostic test is also conducted through the vehicle ECU to ensure the FICM is able to communicate with the ECU and successfully pass a self-test. GB offers 3 part numbers which provide 100% application coverage. Consult our catalog for application information. Each FICM includes a technical bulletin with installation tips and some important inspection procedures that need to be performed on the wiring harness prior to installation. GB also offers a 58-volt version of the FICM, which is a popular upgrade for customers who operate their vehicles in mostly cooler climates. The higher voltage improves injector response time and can help reduce stiction during cold engine operation. Now let's look at some competitive options out there and how they stack up against GB's remanufactured FICM. Many of you may be familiar with the power supply board that is available as a repair option. This requires the removal, then disassembly of the FICM to install the power supply board into the original FICM. There are some downsides to these options. First, it only fixes failures that are related to the power supply board. If there is a defect on the main board, then you'll go through the hassle of installation only to find out it didn't fix your problem. You'll end up having to remove the new board just installed and then purchase a complete reman FICM. With GB's solution, you'll be guaranteed that it will fix 100% of the FICM failure modes. Second, since the software of the FICM resides in the microprocessor on the logic board, it means you won't be getting the latest software fixes. These are a big benefit to the operation of the injectors. All GB remanufactured FICMs come pre-programmed with the latest software. In addition, you won't be benefiting from the upgrades that we perform to the logic board that will reduce the chance of failure down the road. Third, there are 2 FICM hardware platforms that were released. This was because the manufacturer made changes to the FICM midstream in the life cycle of the 6-liter. Early FICMs use a 7-pin to connect the power supply to the logic board. Later models use 4 pins. Although the complete FICMs are interchangeable, the power supply boards are not. Because of this, the aftermarket power supply board won't work if you have a FICM with 7-pin hardware. You won't know this until you remove and disassemble the FICM. The other option out there are competitive remanufactured FICMs. In many cases, other remanufacturers are not upgrading the software inside the FICM, so you'll get whatever software was in the FICM when the unit was remanufactured. Sometimes these units will come with instructions that the FICM needs to be reprogrammed or reflashed once installed on the vehicle. This can be a time-consuming and costly process and cannot be accomplished without having the correct programming equipment. Whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or a professional technician, GB's remanufactured FICM provides a total solution that results in time saving and competitive advantages. Best of all, it's backed by GB's 24-month unlimited mileage warranty and are available from our extensive group of independent automotive distributors. For additional tips when servicing diesel fuel injection systems, please see our other videos. And of course, if you have any questions on this or any of GB's products, feel free to reach out to us by phone, email, or on the web. Thanks for watching.